Roguelikes are all the rage. So what happens when you combine roguelike elements with a relentless horde of undead, a bit of tower defense and turn-based tactics? Watch on and find out.
My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play.
In case you're new to the channel, you should know that I take viewer requests. So when a viewer who goes by Hippie requested that we check out The Last Spell by Ishtar Games, I grabbed it and gave it a try. Who am I to deny my adoring fans, even if I routinely dislike roguelikes and turn-based tactics? I will take one for the team. I put just under 5 hours into figuring it out. The story behind the game is a cute one. They used too much magic, and bad stuff happened, including hordes of undead, so now they're going to try to use magic to get rid of the magic, and you will use more magic in defense of this goal. Sure, why not? Upon the beginning of this journey, you're presented with 2 towns that you can start a run from, which apparently have different difficulty levels associated with them. You start out with 3 heroes in this easier town and are immediately thrust into your first night of battle. The map indicates which direction the hordes will come from, and you can initially place your heroes to deal with whatever onslaught might appear. From a tactics perspective, most of the expected mechanical elements are here. You have both ranged and melee combat. Skills might attack an enemy on a single tile, or they might be able to affect multiple tiles by doing area damage as well. On top of that, some techniques might have chained effects. As an example, there was a lightning spell that would propagate through several enemies on adjacent tiles and do its thing. No surprises here. Different weapons each come with different sets of skills, and your warriors can be equipped with 2 weapon sets at a time. There are both one-handed and two-handed weapons in this game, and you can mix and match different weapon types to achieve the build you're looking for. Want to have a mage with a wand, but an offhand hammer for smashing folks that get too close? You can do that. Want to have an archer with a 2-handed longbow and swap that with a sword and shield? Sure, that's also a thing. The game uses a combination of action points, movement points, and mana for managing the activity of your heroes in battle. You can only move so much. Each skill uses 0 or more action points, and when you're out, you're out. You also have a finite pool of mana to draw from, and even heroes that you wouldn't consider to be magical, like a sword-wielding fighter, have skills that use mana. I did encounter at least one buffing skill that would restore some AP and movement to another one of your heroes. This is a pretty standard setup overall, and it works fine. The terrain can be used to your advantage. Many objects that might block the enemy's path can be used as cover, but some of them will block your line of sight for various skills. There are also other terrain elements that are indestructible, like rocks and holes. Careful planning of defenses, which we'll talk about later, can be used to try to funnel the enemy into compromised positions. This is also all reasonable stuff. Fundamentally, you're trying to prevent the horde from making it into your town and messing up the place using your tactics. The mage at the center of town needs to finish its thing in the service of the aforementioned destruction of all magic. Presumably, if that mage and its building are destroyed, you fail. Makes sense to me, but I guess what else would you expect? Once the horde is defeated, you have a cycle of reward, rebuilding, and improvement. Depending on how well you kept the hordes at bay, you may get more money, materials, or even loot. In a pretty common looter trope, gear might have different rarities and special abilities. There's also a shop where you can buy gear for your heroes. Armor, weapons, miscellaneous trinkets, single-use items. You know the drill here. Your heroes get XP for their efforts, and then they level up. There are no directly modifiable attributes in this game, so you're not going to pump points into your mage's intelligence. No, you basically get to choose from a random list of enhancements to apply, and you get 2 of them for each level. These also have rarities associated with them, but just because an enhancement is rare doesn't mean it's useful. that mega buff to your poison damage is great, but I never saw a weapon that actually did poison damage, so who cares where it is? Then there's also a set of traits that you can put points into, and as is expected in a roguelike game, which is essentially based on randomness, there appears to be some randomness to the set of traits that are available that you could choose. So even though you know that trait exists that enhances accuracy for ranged attacks when your hero doesn't move, there's no guarantee that it will be available for you to choose with that specific hero on that specific run. Meh. You can't do a whole lot at the beginning of the game, even when you have a decent bit of cash. That's because you have to play to win. Yes, fine. I realize that is a tautologically obvious statement, but I was making it more in the context of gambling than in the context of not being able to win a game that isn't played. So anyway, the whole quote-unquote play-to-win thing here is that as you play, you unlock things in one of two stores. One of the stores essentially uses the souls of the dead as a currency to purchase directed unlocks like health buffs, some new weapons, or even buildings. The other store's currency is you having done stuff, like using lots of bow skills in battle, unlocking a different class of bows in the shops. Great. So all I have to do is play a whole lot to make the game more interesting? This seems backwards. Lastly, those unlocks might include additional buildings or defenses. You use gold to construct buildings like healing or mana generation facilities, and inn to hire additional heroes or mages up to the allowed limit, gold or materials production facilities, and even, apparently, crafting facilities. So you are upgrading and building and enhancing your little town in an effort to help ensure your survival. Lastly, you gather materials either from your buildings or from deconstructing ruins on the map, and you use those materials to build defenses. I had played the game just enough to get to the point where I could build stone defenses instead of wood ones, and had gotten my first damage-dealing defensive item, the ballista. Looking at where the hordes will come from and planning the construction or reconstruction of your defenses to help hold them off is the other really important puzzle piece. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. This game has a lot of stuff and a lot of randomness, but fundamentally it just wasn't all that interesting. You know that you're going to fail, and fail often, coming right out of the gate. And all you have to do is just do stuff mindlessly to get enough points to start unlocking more gameplay elements, so it all ends up feeling rather pointless. Maybe I could have just barely managed to complete the first town on my second or third run, but I really wasn't all that eager to explore the different things that I might unlock. Okay, more powerful bows would do more damage, but I already understand how bows work, so if I just have to suffer along until I've unlocked the stuff that's powerful enough to survive this particular town's hordes, that doesn't sound fun. Oh, and it didn't seem like the map itself was particularly random between runs either, so you're mostly doing very similar things, but with a bunch of random die rolls determining whether or not it would be fun or miserable. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, this is kind of a solid meh. All the systems and interactions and gameplay elements work just fine together, but that's it. It was just fine. This kind of reward system doesn't really light up my dopamine receptors like it does for other folks, and that's fine. So I packed up my heroes and went off to try and find some meat and mutton, because the inns in this game were decidedly lacking in food. And then I remembered I had some meat in my fridge. I've actually got several meateries around here.